What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be watching a video titled The Great Suburbanization of American Sports. Let's see what this video is about.
Recently, I took a trip out to Minneapolis to film a different video, but during this trip I visited Target Field for a Twins baseball game. The stadium is located downtown, and I stayed in a hotel near the airport. But I discovered there was a light rail system that went from a couple blocks away from my hotel right to Target Field's front door in downtown Minneapolis. This took right around the same amount of time as it would to drive, but it was cheaper than paying for parking, and most importantly, it was incredibly easy. Low stress, no traffic, and the facilities were high quality. This is an example of urban planning and geography and how it can affect sports. So,
oh my god, that football field. Is that a football field? Yeah, right? That's massive. Look at the size of that compared to like the buildings next to it. That's crazy. And it's filled with people in that photo too. That's really cool.
Example of urban planning and geography and how it can affect sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or are wondering how cities around the US work in relation to such an integral part, this video will discuss that, specifically exploring the differences between a downtown stadium and how it interacts with the high-density region, and suburban stadiums and the way they create a node for a city. Before we get into that though, quickly I wanted to ask if you would consider subscribing to the channel. I make geography content like this every week, so if you're interested, I'd really appreciate the support. Thank you. So the real thing to investigate here is where to put a sports stadium within a city, because there are unique benefits to both options. First, you can place a stadium downtown. This is wonderful for economic stimulation because it affects the surrounding neighborhoods. An absolutely perfect example of this is Wrigleyville. This is the region surrounding Wrigley Field in northern Chicago. There's a long strip of development around the stadium filled with dense.
But this is like suburban. What? Like if there's like concerts, I don't know if you guys have concerts and stuff at the stadium. Like you can basically hear it from your backyard, literally, if you like live next to the stadium. That's kind of crazy. Really cool. Or if you live in a taller building, maybe you can even see it.
It's mixed use, but mostly commercial development. Wrigley rooftops, where people can watch the game from outside the stadium, fuels development past the outfield. And in this situation, there's a major transit hub a block away. The issue here? Well, it's totally unfriendly to drivers. Traffic is already difficult in the dense region, but parking simply does not have the capacity to hold the amount of people in the stadium. So it restricts options. Be aware, I personally prefer that, but the argument for suburban sports stadiums is also important to cover. The main thing is that parking and traffic can be so much easier. Most of these stadiums have large surrounding parking lots, making it simple to leave and enter rather than having to find a location somewhere around the stadium. Sure, the massive parking lots may not be seen as a positive by everyone, but I would much rather drive to a Brewers game at Miller Park than a Pirates game at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. The second thing that's important here is the ability to control traffic and development. You get more room to work with, in turn helping to control that traffic. If we use the Atlanta Braves stadium site, before they built it, they were presented with an empty neighborhood, so they could decide access points, traffic capacity, and
wow, look at how green it was.
With an empty neighborhood, so they could.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Stadium site, before they built it, they were
I like my forests.
Presented with an empty neighborhood, so they could decide access points, traffic capacity, and surrounding development. Now, despite being a suburban area outside of Atlanta's Beltline, it's a generally lively area with upscale apartments.
Now that looks a lot like, it does. Okay? Don't bash on me in the comments, but this looks a lot like Finland. Like a lot like Finland. Like you could show me a photo of this and be like, yeah, this was on this street in Finland. I'd be like, oh. Yeah.
This looks like an urban area rather than a suburban area, so that's a win. You can make your own decisions on which you'd prefer, but just leave it to Los Angeles to get the worst of both worlds. Dodger Stadium is like a mile outside of Central Business District, in turn dealing with crazy, almost unbearable game day traffic. But it has that massive parking lot for parking, restricting any surrounding development and any economic stimulation because of the stadium. This all illustrates the great divide of American sports. Some stadiums are placed downtown, and some are placed out in nowhere land. I've found much more scrutiny for these stadiums outside of downtown areas, and yet they just keep coming. So let's go to Dallas for our greatest current example. Dallas is one of America's largest cities, but it's known for
I think just because of like the awkward size and shape, it's easier to put them outside of the city than inside, but probably, I mean, does it really make a difference? Like when it comes to like people going there and stuff? I mean, it's easier to go there if it's in the city, but I feel like, if you really do want to go watch some game, you're going to go anyways, I guess.
spread out influence across several cities. In other words, it's really a spread out metropolitan area called Dallas-Fort Worth. The metropolitan area's most popular team is the Cowboys, and they play in an expansive neighborhood in Arlington, right between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's near Six Flags, high-capacity highways, and Globe Life Field, the Rangers stadium. There's plenty of surrounding parking, and they were able to make basically every road this big boulevard design. It's not very walkable or urban, but dang is it beautiful from your Honda Odyssey. Either way, the other two major teams are the Dallas Stars for the NHL and the Dallas Mavericks for the NBA. They share a stadium in downtown Dallas, and it works well for them. It's connected well to light rail, and it's surrounded by dense urban environment that is mostly there because of the stadium. Well, apparently the two franchises don't like sharing a room, just like teenaged sisters. So after their lease is up in 2031, they both want out. Now, why would you stay downtown when there's way more room in the suburbs, and that's the place to be in Dallas? I really don't know how this metropolitan area managed it, but it's literally cited that the region's corporate growth and economic stimulation is centered in Dallas's northern suburbs, not the downtown. The Stars want to move to Plano at a former mall site. This gives them plenty of room to build a surrounding district of mixed-use development. The Mavs have a similar plan, just one beltway closer to downtown, at the former Valley View mall site. Yeah, they'll have more than enough room to build whatever they want, but it comes with some issues since they're abandoning the downtown site. First of all, we all know traffic is rough in Dallas-Fort Worth. They're moving next to a couple highways with severe traffic issues during rush hour, and they're setting themselves up for this.
I'm so into this video, and then suddenly I'm thinking like I'm watching a video about football stadiums. Like I've never even watched American football, and I've never been to a game. I would love to go to a game, but like, why am I interested in the most random topics? Like I find the most random topics like intriguing. I'm just like, yeah, makes sense. Like, what am I doing, honestly? It's so random, but okay.
No, they won't have extensive public transportation connecting. It will be much less connected than that downtown spot. So there's a transit downgrade and a traffic gridlock. But my personal focus is what happens to their old area. Literally nobody knows what's going to happen to it yet, but poor downtown Dallas needs something. And I'm just afraid we're continuing to see the death of downtown vibrancy, this time in the form of sports. A big place we're seeing a big move is in Chicago, with the recently announced Chicago Bears move. Breaking down the situation quickly, Soldier Field is extremely old and historic, located right on the waterfront in downtown.
This is really pretty.
The issue is that it has the least capacity in the NFL, and they pretty much just want a new stadium. Governments often help fund sports stadiums, but Chicago and the entire state of Illinois is refusing to give them the funding they need to move to a site in Arlington Heights, which would be almost an hour outside downtown on its own. Indiana then stepped in and said, hey, we'll take you guys, and that's all the Bears needed to hear. The exact location isn't decided.
So do they fund this so that they can get the money out of tourism then? Or not tourism, but off of the games? Is that how this works? Or it doesn't make much sense unless...
But the plan is to move somewhere around here in Hammond, just on the Indiana side of the border, 30 minutes out of downtown. So it's actually closer than that Arlington Heights site. But Chicagoland is a huge metropolitan area, so moving to one end of it, rather than the center like the downtown would be, is just a difficult choice to make. Anyone on the north side is probably driving a full hour or more to get there. The Bears know this, it's just a difficult decision they had to make. To get out of Illinois, it was either that or Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I would personally go down there and beat them up if they tried to do that. Yeah, that's right. I'm a big Packers fan, so I'm really happy about that move happening because it really just sucks for them. That's about all you need to know about that. All of this comes back to the idea of sports urbanism, my personal favorite type of urbanism. Sports stadiums are one of the single best places for economic stimulation and community. I was just in the Tarps Off movement the other day at Miller Park. Where else do you hang out shirtless with a bunch of dudes and just have a great time bonding? It's really inspirational stuff.
Take me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, calm down. Okay? It's a joke.
In downtowns, communities are springing up around sports stadiums. Think about Ballpark Village in St. Louis.
That's so pretty.
Or these apartments overlooking Busch Stadium. We come back to Wrigleyville, another iconic example. And here's McGregor Square, a huge mixed-use development built in downtown Denver, right across from Coors Field, where the...
Wow, that is crazy. Can you see that little hallway that's like up? Oh my god, I could not walk there.
Rockies play. Sports stadiums become a node and a landmark for a city. Back in Minneapolis, there are so many people who would love living in an apartment a block away from Target Field and Arena, a transit station that they can use to connect themselves around the metropolitan area, and overlooking lively bars and restaurants that see visitors every single night. I won't harp on transit-oriented developments because I'm already really towing the line of the amount of people actually interested in all the things I'm talking about. There's not a crazy large urbanist sports fan pool, but basically this sports urbanism concept is just a buffed up version of that concept of a transit-oriented development. I'll leave you with a slight pushback for suburban stadiums, because this urbanism can get brought outside the city center, which is not at all a bad thing. The Brewers have plans to build a mixed-use development along the Menominee River near their stadium, rather than just leaving it as a parking lot. This will result in a new, somewhat urban environment with economic stimulating developments. Keep in mind this used to be a city quarry and a garbage dump before the stadium was built, so that's a clear improvement right there. I could go on and on about the stadium trends that we're seeing across the US.
Wow, this is incredibly beautiful.
As new stadium ideas...
Oh, I love that. Even though obviously it wouldn't look like that like from down. But this is pretty.
Are happening all over the country. But that's for you to research. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much to the members this week. I really appreciate you guys as always. If you want to become a member, the link is down in the description below. All the money goes straight to me, and it's going straight in my savings as I save up for a wedding and a house and everything after that. So if you want to help me and my fiance out in the next few years of our lives, this is the best way to do it, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, that is so sweet. Well, that was a different type of video for sure, but I mean it was still interesting to me for some reason. I really liked that last building though. I feel like it's so cool to see. Like I wish I had the brain to like make art designs like this, like building designs. It's really, really cool. But thank you guys for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video.